Imagine a world where silence speaks louder than words, where patience becomes your greatest weapon and your actions carry more power than any argument. While others rush, shout, and demand attention, you move with quiet strength, trusting the process, listening to your heart, and acting with precision. Every step you take in stillness builds momentum. Every choice rooted in wisdom shapes your destiny. Stay silent, stay patient, stay disciplined, and watch as the universe bends to your unwavering focus. Everything you desire is already aligning. It's only waiting for you to realize the power of quiet action. True strength is often mistaken for the loudness of one's voice, the ability to dominate a conversation, or the urgency with which one demands attention. Yet the most profound power resides in silence, in the choice to withhold words and let stillness govern your actions. When you embrace silence, you allow yourself to observe, to absorb, to process in a way that noisy activity never permits. Silence is not weakness. It is the calm before a storm, the depth beneath the surface, the hidden engine that drives transformation. In silence, your mind is free from the clutter of distraction, from the incessant chatter that clouds judgment and scatters energy. Every great leader, every visionary, every person who has shaped history has understood that restraint is a form of mastery. To stay silent is to cultivate patience, the ability to wait for the right moment, to act decisively when the world least expects it. It is in these quiet moments that strategy is honed, that ideas are refined, and that true understanding emerges. Silence opens a door to clarity that words often obscure. When the noise of the world, the opinions of others, and the pressures of society are muted, you begin to hear your own inner voice. That voice carries wisdom accumulated through experience, intuition, and reflection. It knows what is necessary, what is essential, and what is merely temporary. In the quiet, you connect with the rhythm of life itself, with the forces that guide success, prosperity, and fulfillment. There is a subtle, almost mystical alignment that occurs when you refrain from reacting impulsively and instead observe and reflect. The world may rush past, seeking instant gratification and recognition, but those who understand the power of silence move with a rhythm that is deliberate, calculated, and ultimately unstoppable. Choosing silence over noise also builds resilience. When you resist the urge to respond to every provocation, to justify every opinion, or to seek validation constantly, you conserve energy, focus, and mental clarity. Your actions become more intentional, more precise, and more impactful. People may underestimate you, assuming that quietude signifies weakness, but the truth is that you are gathering strength in the unseen, preparing for a moment when your influence will resonate far beyond the reach of any spoken word. This silent preparation cultivates patience, self-control, and confidence. You no longer need to prove yourself. The results of your efforts speak on your behalf. Silence is a refuge, a sanctuary where the mind can contemplate, where creativity flourishes, and where personal power is nurtured. It allows you to stand firm in the face of chaos, to act from wisdom rather than impulse, and to trust that life unfolds according to a natural rhythm. By embracing the quiet, you step into a dimension of influence and authority that words alone cannot achieve. The power of silence lies not in what is withheld, but in what is gained. Focus, clarity, insight, patience, and an unshakable inner strength that draws everything you need into alignment naturally. When you choose silence, you begin to discover a dimension of listening that most people never experience. Listening is more than hearing the words around you. It is the art of perceiving the unspoken, of sensing the currents that guide life, of tuning into the subtleties that often pass unnoticed. In silence, you learn to hear your own heart, to understand the desires, fears, and motivations that shape your choices. You become attuned to your instincts, to the quiet nudges that point you toward opportunity, away from danger, and toward your true purpose. It is in this stillness that the mind sharpens, that the soul awakens, and that intuition becomes a compass that directs every step with precision. The world is filled with noise, distraction, and constant chatter, but when you remain quiet, you gain access to an inner clarity that is far more powerful than any external guidance. Listening in silence also allows you to truly understand others. When you are not consumed by the need to speak, defend, or assert yourself, you perceive more deeply. You notice expressions, tones, and gestures that reveal what is often hidden behind words. You begin to sense motivations, intentions, and truths that escape those who rush to react. By observing and absorbing before responding, you gain insight into human nature, into relationships, and into the dynamics of life itself. This understanding becomes a source of strength. People may underestimate your quietness, but it gives you an unparalleled awareness. You move with knowledge, not assumption, with foresight, not reaction. Every interaction becomes a chance to learn, to grow, and to respond in a way that aligns with your highest wisdom. The power of listening through silence extends beyond human connection. It reaches into the rhythm of the universe. Nature itself teaches through quiet observation. The steady growth of a tree, the patient flow of a river, the unhurried rise and fall of the sun. When you attune yourself to these patterns, you begin to see the logic and order that govern success, timing, and opportunity. Life has its own voice, and only those who quiet their minds can hear it. In listening, you develop the ability to act in harmony with circumstances rather than struggling against them. Every decision becomes more precise, every choice more informed, and every step more aligned with your ultimate destiny. Silence also cultivates self-awareness, the most critical form of listening. By tuning into your thoughts, emotions, and impulses, you gain mastery over yourself. You recognize patterns, identify weaknesses, and reinforce strengths. You stop being a slave to reaction and begin to act with intention. In this process, your inner dialogue becomes constructive, your focus becomes unwavering, and your confidence grows without arrogance. The quiet is where you reconcile who you are with who you want to become, where you align your actions with your purpose, and where every small insight compounds into monumental growth. Ultimately, listening in silence is a form of empowerment. It allows you to navigate life with clarity, precision, and foresight. You learn to respond rather than react, to observe rather than assume, and to trust the subtle guidance that emerges when the mind is still. By embracing silence, you gain the ability to perceive, understand, and act in ways that others, caught in the noise of their own thoughts, can never achieve. The world speaks loudly, but those who listen quietly move with a power that is invisible yet undeniable, shaping their lives and destinies naturally and profoundly. Patience and trust are two of the most misunderstood virtues in a world that glorifies speed, urgency, and instant results. Yet those who master the art of waiting and believing in the process discover a force far more powerful than haste or forceful action. Life has its own timing, a rhythm that cannot be rushed, coerced, or manipulated. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of fulfillment begins not in a flurry of activity, but in the quiet cultivation of patience and unwavering faith. When you trust the process, you release the burden of control, and in doing so, you align yourself with the natural flow of opportunity, preparation, and growth. There is a subtle power in knowing that the universe is working on your behalf, even when the results are not yet visible. Patience is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and disciplined. It is the understanding that every setback, delay, or challenge carries a lesson, an adjustment, and a hidden advantage. When you cultivate patience, you train your mind to endure discomfort without panic, to navigate uncertainty without fear, and to hold steady when the world demands immediate answers. Every great leader, every innovator, every person who has shaped history understood this principle. They did not rush their vision into reality. They nurtured it quietly, refined it through reflection and observation, and allowed it to emerge at the precise moment when it could flourish. Trust in this process becomes a source of strength, a shield against frustration, and a foundation for wisdom. Trust amplifies patience. It is the faith that your efforts, intentions, and sacrifices are not wasted. When you act with integrity, when you work diligently in silence, when you prepare while others chase recognition, trust becomes the invisible force guiding your journey. It allows you to endure delays without resentment, to overcome obstacles without despair, and to remain focused on your purpose regardless of external circumstances. Trust transforms waiting from a passive ordeal into an empowering practice, where every moment of stillness is invested in growth, learning, and readiness for what is to come. Those who understand patience and trust also recognize the power of timing. There is a season for everything, a time to act, a time to speak, a time to sow, and a time to harvest. Rushing disrupts this natural order, often leading to missed opportunities, mistakes, and unnecessary conflict. By contrast, patience allows you to observe, assess, and engage with clarity. It provides perspective, insight, and foresight. Trust ensures that when the moment arrives, you are ready to act with precision, confidence, and impact. You move in harmony with life rather than against it. And in this harmony, the universe opens doors that force could never pry. Patience and trust are ultimately about belief. Not in luck, not in chance, but in the inevitable alignment of preparation, intention, and opportunity. When you embrace these virtues, you release the anxiety of the present and the fear of the unknown. You invest your energy where it truly matters, in your growth, your vision, and your integrity. Over time, the results of this steadfast commitment reveal themselves naturally, powerfully, and undeniably. The world may demand haste, but those who practice patience and trust discover that life rewards those who wait wisely, who act with insight, and who believe without doubt. Their victories are not hurried or forced. They are earned, deserved, and perfectly timed. Action without wisdom is like a ship without a rudder, moving but aimless, expending energy without direction. Beliefs, intentions, and ideas hold immense power within the mind, but until they are translated into deliberate action, they remain invisible, powerless, and untested. Reality does not bend to thoughts alone. It responds to what we do, how we move, and the choices we make consistently over time. Every idea, no matter how brilliant, requires courage to manifest, persistence to sustain, and discipline to refine. Action is the bridge between vision and reality, the vital force that turns dreams into tangible results. To act without hesitation, to move deliberately and purposefully, is to harness the creative energy that lies dormant within potential. Ideas shape the world only when they leave the mind and enter the realm of experience. A single step, a small effort, a quiet decision to implement what you believe in sets off ripples that grow beyond comprehension. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every shift in society began with someone acting decisively on an idea, refusing to wait for perfect conditions or external approval. Action is a declaration to the universe that your belief is not idle, that your vision matters, and that you are willing to invest your energy in its realization. Without action, even the most profound insight remains inert, trapped in imagination, and unable to influence the course of your life. Beliefs without action are like seeds left on the soil's surface. They hold potential, but never germinate. Every step you take toward your goals strengthens the connection between intention and outcome. Action teaches lessons that thinking alone cannot provide. It reveals weaknesses, uncovers strengths, and exposes truths that remain invisible in contemplation. The act of doing transforms abstract concepts into practical wisdom, transforming confidence into competence and dreams into measurable achievements. Through consistent action, the intangible becomes tangible, the possible becomes real, and the vision becomes a living testament of your determination. Action also carries the power of momentum. Each deliberate step fuels the next, creating a rhythm that accelerates growth and progress. The world responds to movement. Opportunities align with effort, and challenges diminish when confronted with steady, purposeful action. Hesitation, doubt, and delay weaken influence, while consistent, intentional activity amplifies impact. Action is the language through which your inner beliefs converse with reality. It communicates to the world, to others, and to yourself that you are committed, prepared, and unshakable in your pursuit of purpose. Furthermore, action grounded in wisdom ensures that your energy is neither wasted nor misdirected. Acting without clarity can scatter resources and produce shallow results, but acting with thoughtfulness aligns every effort with vision. It transforms effort into accomplishment, struggle into progress, and obstacles into stepping stones. Action becomes not just a physical or mental exercise, but a manifestation of your character, integrity, and resilience. It is the bridge between potential and achievement, between dreams whispered in the mind and reality felt in the world. True success is not measured by what you say, but by what you embody and the results you manifest. The most powerful influence comes not from words or promises, but from the consistency, integrity, and character you demonstrate through your actions. When you cultivate inner strength, resilience, and focus, the world begins to respond naturally, as if recognizing the energy you project. Quiet perseverance, steadfast faith, and unwavering dedication create a force that cannot be ignored. Others may speak loudly, boast of their accomplishments, or demand recognition, but your silent commitment builds a foundation far more solid, far more enduring. It is this invisible strength that ultimately shapes reality, commanding respect, admiration, and opportunities without the need for explanation or assertion. Character speaks louder than words ever could. When you stay true to your principles, act with integrity, and face challenges without complaint, your presence becomes a declaration. People sense authenticity, recognize dedication, and respond to the quiet power that comes from consistency. You become a living example of what it means to persevere, to trust the process, and to act with wisdom. Results born from inner strength carry a resonance that fleeting achievements cannot match. They inspire, influence, and open doors in ways that noise and attention-seeking never will. The world always recognizes substance over spectacle, even if it takes time for the acknowledgement to appear. Faith in your vision transforms patience into inevitability. By trusting that your efforts, intentions, and sacrifices are aligning with a greater plan, you allow life to work in your favor without the burden of forceful effort. This faith fuels resilience, enabling you to endure setbacks, remain steady through adversity, and maintain focus on your path. Those who understand this power do not chase validation or applause. They prepare quietly, act decisively when the time is right, and allow the results to reveal themselves naturally. The universe responds to this harmony of effort and trust, aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities to reinforce the trajectory of your purpose. Consistency magnifies impact. Every small, deliberate act repeated faithfully compounds into monumental results. Success is rarely instantaneous. It is the product of daily choices, persistent effort, and unwavering adherence to one's vision. The silent, disciplined commitment to growth and improvement produces outcomes that speak louder than words ever could. While others are distracted by noise, recognition, or immediate gratification, you are quietly building, quietly strengthening, and quietly preparing for the moment when your work will bear fruit. Ultimately, your actions, your focus, and your character become your voice in the world. Silence does not mean passivity. It means mastery over impulses, clarity in purpose, and strength in execution. By cultivating inner power, trusting the process, and acting with integrity, you create a reality where your results speak for themselves. The world cannot ignore what is genuinely manifested, and in this, true influence and success are found. Your life becomes a testament to the fact that the quiet, disciplined, and steadfast soul achieves far more than the loud, distracted, or reactive one. Everything you seek, respect, impact, and fulfillment, will come naturally when your character and actions align with your highest purpose.